Hello, my dear students. Welcome you all to Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking the zoology part, that is animal science. My dear students, we have started the zoological importance of animals in the last lecture. We talked about different varieties of cattle, sheep, goat, pigs, piggery. Now we are going to start with sericulture. Sericulture is the breeding and management of silkworms for the production of silk. It has been practiced in India since second era or century BC. The silk which is produced by silkworm is of valuable natural protein fiber. Silkworms are the larvae of silk moth. The rearing of silkworm for the production of silk is known as what? Sericulture. So sericulture is the breeding and management of silkworms for the production of silk. It has been practiced in India since a very long time. The silk which is produced by silkworm is a valuable protein containing fiber. Silkworms are the larvae of silk moth. The rearing of silkworm for the production of silk is known as what? Sericulture. Historical importance of sericulture. Historical account of use of silk and rearing of silkworm eggs, larvae, cocoons are available from China. It was Lord Zhu, the Empress Guangxi, who was the first time discovered the silk thread and its source, the silkworm cocoon. The technique of sericulture was kept as a secret by the Chinese people. In 550 BC, the sericulture technique was diffused to European countries. The available mythological literature deals with the facts regarding the use of silk in ancient India. By about, by about 1000 AD, the sericulture was practiced in China, Europe, and India. China was the leading country in this field. At present, sericulture is practiced in China, Japan, Korea, India, Brazil, Russia, France, Italy, some of the Southeast Asian countries. China is top most country producing 48% of cocoons and 40.9% of raw silk. Next biggest silk producing country is Japan. India is placed in the third position as far as the production of silk in terms of quantity is concerned. Silk in India. As far as silk as a fabric is concerned, it is matchless fabric, second to none. Therefore, silk garments have been a favorite choice since ancient times. Use of silk cloth finds its mention from prehistoric periods. There are description of use of silk cloths from Vedic period in Ramayana and Mahabharata period. The silk cloths adored the bodies of royal princes, prince, kings, and queens. Its attire of the rich people. The silk cloths were used to the superiority of social and economical status. It was given in gifts by rich people and royal families. In the medieval period of silk, it was recognized commodity of commerce. Silk cloths and raw silk was imported from China and Japan. Later on, it was imported from Europe. By the Mughal period, India had a rich heritage of silk cloths. The silk was imported as raw silk. It was spun into silk thread, and silk cloths were woven in handlooms. Silk cloths became almost a craze among royal families and rich persons. A number of such looms were in operation in Banaras and different parts of Uttar Pradesh. Kashmir became the centers for the production of cocoons and rearing of silkworm. Sporadic silk textile centers were also present in South India. It was 1905 to 1906 that a scientific investigation in the field of sericulture was undertaken in India by the Indian Institute of Agriculture Research at Pusa, New Delhi. It was Lefroy who conducted research on the silkworm and potentialities of silk production in India. A series of exhibitions were organized to popularize silk and attract the attention of scientists and industrialists as well as towards sericulture in India. By 1910, India started regular production of raw silk. The rearing of Bombyx muri and Austracia species were undertaken. Silk textile industries was finally established in Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka. Silk garments were exported by this time. Silk cloths from Bengal, Banaras, and Karnataka were famous even in European markets. Silk in modern age. Sericulture as well as silk industry is firmly established in India. India at present is the third biggest country in the field of silk production and only next after China and Japan. The reasons for the poor growth of sericulture in India were high cost of production, low yield, and poor quality of raw silk. By the recent efforts by the Government of India and various state governments such as research in sericulture and training in sericulture technique, development of silkworms, marketing facilities, and cultivation of plants, Morus indica or Shehtoot norus alba or tooth, castor sal, Center Sericulture Station, Berhampore, Central Research and Training Center Mysore, and Ranchi have been established. Various states have undertaken a program of research, training, and plantation of host plants under their rural development programs. As a result of these efforts, new varieties of mulberry plants have been developed and are being cultivated. These varieties are called as M2 and M5 varieties. They give 100% increased yield of mulberry leaves upon which silkworm feeds. Different varieties of silkworm, Bombyx muri, and Othecia have been developed, which can be cultivated in various states. Existing races of silkworm are being improved. Bivoltine species are being developed. Low production and higher yield have been achieved as a result of these efforts. India is producing 4,200 metric tons of silk per annum. 1980. In the year 1980, it has been recorded that India is the producer of 4,200 metric tons of silk per annum. The figure is even higher at present. India is exporting 25 to 30% of its total silk production in the form of silk garments and fabrics. Karnataka is the biggest silk producing state, followed by Jammu and Kashmir and Tamil Nadu. Madhya Pradesh is also emerging on the scene of silk production. India is producing China silk, Kasar silk, Kosa silk, Muga silk, and Eri silk today. Systemic position of Bombyx muri. It belongs to phylum Orthopoda, class Insecta, order Lepidoptera, and family Bombicidae and Sternidea. The phylum Bombyx muri belongs to Orthopoda, class is Insecta, order is Lepidoptera, and families Bombicidae and Saturnidae. Family Bombicidae. Bombyx muri, it is known as China silkworm or Mulberry silkworm. It is a native of China. It has been fully domesticated for the production of silk. It produces quality of silk which is white silk or yellow silk. So Bombyx muri, it is known as China silkworm or Mulberry silkworm. It is native of China. It has been fully domesticated for the production of silk. It produces quality of silk which is white and yellow. Other species of Bombyx muri are Bombyx texior, Bombyx fortunax, and Bombyx meridionals. They are well known in our country. Family Saturnidae. Anthraci papio. It belongs to family Saturnidae. It is widely distributed in India in states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. It feeds on big and thick plants. Its favorite host plant is Arjun, Terminalia arjuna, Sol, Soria robusta. It has been recently domesticated for sericulture. It produces Tassar silk or Kosa silk. Habit and habitat. The silkworm distributed in temperate regions are diapause type. They remain inactive for some time in winter. The silkworms inhabiting in some tropical regions. Habit and habitat. The silkworm distributed in temperate regions are diapause type, means they remain inactive for some time in winter. The silkworms inhabiting some tropical regions. Adult moth. The moth measures about 25 millimeter in length and wingspan measures about 50 millimeter in width. Female moths are larger than male moths. In general, univoltine races are larger size than multivoltine. It has whitish color with grey marks on the wings. In some races, the body is divisible into head, thorax, and abdomen as orthopodans are. Head contains a pair of eyes and a pair of pactinated antennae, especially larger in males. Thorax contains three pairs of legs and two pairs of wings covered with scales. Female moths are without moth. The abdomen is plump. Digestive system is poorly developed. Excretory system consists of three pairs of Malpighian tubules present at the end of midgut. The reproductive system is very well developed in females and males. It has whitish color with grey marks on the wings in some races. The body is divisible into head, thorax, and abdomen. Head contains a pair of eyes and pactinated antennae, especially larger in males. Thorax contains three pairs of legs and two pairs of wings covered with scales. Female moths are without mouth. Abdomen is plump. Digestive system is poorly developed. Excretory system consists of three pairs of malphizian tubules present at the end of midgut. The reproductive system is very well developed in females and males. Life history. Copulation. The copulation lasts for about 3 hours. During copulation, the male sits over the female and holds her with the help of chitinous hooks. Both the moths acquire back-to-back position. The female has a scent gland at the terminal end of abdomen which secretes volatile secretion called pheromones to attract the male. Copulation. The copulation lasts for about 3 hours. During copulation, the male sits over the female and holds her with the help of chitinous hooks. Both the moths acquire back-to-back position. The female has a scent gland at the terminal end of the abdomen which secretes a volatile substance called pheromones to attract the male. Egg. Copulation is immediately followed by egg laying. The eggs are small, oval, and creamy white in color. They become darker as they become older. Each moth lays about 300 to 500 eggs at a time. The eggs are glued to undersurface of the leaves of the host plant. Larva. After hatching of the larva, eggs come out. It is called caterpillar larva. It is around 1.2 to 3 millimeter in length depending upon the race. It has gray or creamy white in color. So larva is gray or creamy white in color. The body of larva is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The head consists of three fused segments. Mouth parts are biting and chewing type or strong mandibulate type. A pair of antennae and six pairs of legs are also present on the no, it is not legs. A pair of antennae and six pairs of chitinous hooks are present on the head. Mandibulate mouth parts are used to cut and chew the leaves. The thorax consists of three segments. Each segment consists of a pair of legs with recurved hooks. They are used for locomotion and manipulation of food during feeding. These chitinous hooks or appendages. The abdomen consists of 10 segments. The last and 10th segment is poorly developed. Five pairs of pseudo legs are present in the third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth and ninth abdominal segments. They are used for locomotion. So the five pairs of pseudo legs are present on third, fourth, and fifth, sixth, and ninth abdominal segments. They are used for locomotion. The body of larva is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. The head consists of three fused segments. Mouth parts are biting and chewing type or strongly mandibulate. A pair of antennae and six pairs of chitinous hooks or appendages are also present on head. Mandibulate mouth parts is present in the uh, silk moth to cut and chew the leaves. The thorax consists of three segments. Each segment consists of a pair of legs and recurved hooks. They are used for locomotion and manipulation of food during feeding. The abdomen consists of 10 segments. The last and 10th segment is poorly developed. Five pairs of pseudo legs are present on third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and ninth abdominal segment respectively. They are used for locomotion. Silk gland. Among other visceral organs, larvae consist of well-developed paired glands known as silk glands. When fully developed, these glands become 5 times larger than the length of the larva, and their weight is about 2/5 of the total body weight. Its secretion probably lubricates the silk. The silk is secreted in liquid form, which solidifies on coming with contact with air. Silk gland. Among other visceral organs, larva contains well-developed paired glands called silk glands. When fully developed, these glands become 5 times larger than the length of the larva, and their weight becomes 2/5 of total body weight. It secretes a kind of lubricant which lubricates the silk. The silk is secreted in the liquid form, which solidifies on coming in contact with air. The larva is voracious eater. It feeds on mulberry leaves. It may ingest about 30,000 times more than its body weight during its complete larval period and increases about 10,000 times more than the body weight of its body from the time of hatching. As the larva grows, it sheds its cuticle. This is called molting. The form of larva between the two successive molts is called instar. The larva has 5 instars. First instar is from hatching to the first molt. Second instar is from first molt to second molt. Third instar from second molt to third molt. Fourth instar from third molt to fifth molt. and fifth instars from fifth mold to pupation. So the consecutive stages between two larval forms, the form of larva between two successive molds are called instar. There are five. The larva is having five instars. First instar is from hatching to first mold. Second instar from first mold to second. Third instar from second to third. Fourth instar from third to fifth, and fifth instar from fifth to pupation. A fully grown larva of fifth instar attains a length of 7.5 centimeter. It stops feeding and starts spinning the cocoon. It secretes silk thread from its spinneret and spinning forms covering in which it encloses itself completely. It takes about 3 to 4 days to spin the cocoon. Pupa. The cocoon consists of silk thread. The enclosed immobile larva in the cocoon is called pupa. The pupal stage is non-feeding and non-mobile. It remains inactive. The cocoon consists of silk thread. The enclosed immobile larva in the cocoon is called pupa. The pupal stages is non-feeding and non-mobile. It remains inactive. Cocoon. Cocoon is white or yellow in color. It is made about 1000 to 1200 meters long silk thread. The thread is wound around the cocoon in concentric circles. The weight of one cocoon is about 1.8 to 2.2 grams. The pupal period lasts for about 10 to 12 days. Alkaline fluid which makes the threads of cocoons to be soft. Soft threads are cut open by the imago. A young moth comes out of the cocoon. Cocoon is white or yellow in color. It is made up of 1000 to 1200 meters long silk thread. A thread is wound around the cocoon in concentric circles. The weight of one cocoon is about 1.8 to 2.2 grams. The pupal period consists of about 10 to 12 days. Alkaline fluid which softens the cocoon. Soft threads are cut open by imago, and a young moth comes out of the cocoon. The young moth is known as what? Imago. Fertilization. After the moths emerge out of the cocoons, one female from the one lot is kept with the male from the other lot. They form pair and copulate. After copulation is over, separated and kept with the female of another lot. Thus, one male can be used to fertilize at the most two females of different lots. After the moths emerge out of the cocoon, one female from one lot is kept with the male from another lot. They make a pairing and copulate. After copulation is over, the female and male moths they are separated, and it is kept with the female, and the male comes up with the female of another lot. Thus, one male can be used to fertilize at a most two females of different lots. Egg laying. After fertilization, the female starts laying eggs. Egg laying is completed in about 24 hours. The laid eggs are called seeds. The eggs are transferred and sterilized and trays stored at 4 degrees Celsius. Factors influencing the life cycle. The life cycle is influenced by the external environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and light. These factors control the growth of the larva and also the quality of silk produced. The growth and molting is controlled by hormone called juvenile hormone or echidisone. After fertilization, the female starts laying eggs. The egg laying is completed in 24 hours. The laid eggs are called seeds and they are transferred to sterilized trays and stored at 4 degrees Celsius. The life cycle is influenced by external environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and light. These factors control the growth of the larva and also the quality of silk produced. The growth and molting is controlled by hormones called juvenile hormone or echidisone. Life cycle of silkworm. You can see these are the eggs. The eggs they hatch to form abdominal. Sorry, the eggs they hatch to form larvae. These larvae are wrapped through the silk they produce to form pupa. Pupa is inside the cocoon. When cocoon is cut open by imago, it forms adult male and adult female. Okay. The thoracic legs are true legs and abdominal legs are pseudo legs. Factors influencing the life cycle of silk moth. Factors influencing the life cycle includes external environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and light. These factors control the growth of the larva and also the quality of silk produced. Composition of silk. The silk is secretory product of silk glands of larva. Silk is composed of proteins serine and fibroin. It consists of inner part of fibroin protein C30H46N10O12 and is covered by outer envelope made up of sericin protein C30H40N10O12. The silk thread contains 75 to 80% of fibroin and 20 to 25% of sericin. So, composition of silk is a secretory product of silk glands of larva. Silk is composed of proteins, sericin, and fibroin. It consists of inner part of fibroin, protein C30H46 and 10O12, and is covered by an outer envelope made up of sericin protein C30H40 and 10O12. The silk thread contains 75 to 80% of fibroin and 25 to 30% of sericin. Sericulture industries. Sericulture industries involves three steps. First is mulberry cultivation. Mulberry is the only food of silkworms. Mulberry plants come up in any soil, in any climate. It is propagated by cuttings. The land is plowed well 6 to 7 times in April May and manured at the rate of 2 to 25 tons per hectare. Small pits are scooped out, 2 to 3 cuttings are landed in a pit. Each cutting should be 20 to 23 centimeter in length with nodes. When the plants grow too high, they cut back and this is known as pruning. So pruning is the process in which the mulberry plants are, cut back. They are propagated through the cutting process. Okay. Pruning will help in the production of new flush of leaves. The plants can yield for 12 years. Each year, 6 to 8 crops of leaves can be obtained. An average yield per hectare is 25 to 30 metric tons of green leaves. Pruning will help in the production of new flush of leaves. The plants can yield 12 years. Every year, 6 to 8 crops of leaves can be obtained. An average yield per hectare is 25 to 30 metric tons of green leaves. Silkworm rearing. Silkworm rearing needs the following: rearing house, rearing trays and stands, and chandeliers as support to build cocoon. The hybrid needs rearing house, chandeliers as support to build cocoon, and rearing trays and stands. The hybrid eggs are obtained from the sericulture department. The larvae are hatched from the eggs. The newly hatched larvae are brushed into rearing trays and tender, chopped are provided to them. At the end of final instar, full-grown mature larvae are transferred from the rearing trays to chandeliers and allowed to build cocoons. Cocoons are then collected and marketed. Grainage management. It is done to provide good quality of seeds to rearers and also to maintain the original quality. Within this air, grainage management is done by taking caterpillar stage. They are protected from disease and are provided good nutrition, as initial secretion is made by observing pupal mortality rate. If the mortality rate is high, then such cocoons are rejected and are not kept for second seed production. If the mortality rate is sufficiently low, there only such cocoons are selected and kept for seed production. The selected cocoons are kept for mass emergency. Before doing so, the cocoons are examined and sexed. Males are selected, examined and selected. Males are kept separately and females are kept in separate lots. This is the grainage management in which we provide good quality of seed to the rearers and also to maintain the original quality. Within this air grainage management, which is done at a stage of caterpillar stage, they are protected from the disease and are provided good nutrition. An initial secretion is made by observing pupal mortality rate. If the pupal mortality rate is high, then cocoons are rejected and are not kept for seed production. If the mortality rate is sufficiently low, then only cocoons are selected and kept for seed production. The selected cocoons are kept for mass emergency. Before doing so, the cocoons are examined and selected. Males are kept separately and females are kept separately in the different lots. Hatching. The process by which larvae come out of the egg is known as what hatching. After hatching, the larva starts eating mulberry leaves. The success of sericulture depends upon the supply of good quality of mulberry leaves. Therefore, hatching must coincide with the good quality of good mulberry season. Nowadays, controlled hatching is done by placing the eggs in low temperature. The eggs are turned and moved with the help of feather. Nowadays, the eggs are kept in mulberry leaves in sterilized trays. If hatching is to be delayed or controlled, the eggs are kept in separate trays and refrigerated for a suitable time. The caterpillars which hatch out are kept in separate groups according to their age. Now, supply of seeds to the rearers. Under this step, the rearers are supplied with the seeds of two qualities, eggs and second instar larva. Beginner rearers are supplied with second instar larva, which experienced rearers can purchase egg. This is an important operation. For this purpose, government has established many silkworm seed in centers from where rearers can get their seeds at fair price. Rearing of caterpillars. The caterpillars are reared at room temperature in shady places at about 60 to 70% humidity. The mulberry leaves supplied to first and second instar larvae are well chopped, fresh, and kept in wet cloth so as to keep them fresh. The caterpillars eat voraciously and grow in size and mold. They form larvae between two successive molds known as instars. Larva has five instar. The last or the fifth instar larva stop feeding and undergo pupation. So the process of hatching, the process of supply of seeds to rearers and rearing of caterpillars is very important step. Okay. Spinning of cocoons. Spinning of cocoons, full grown fifth instar larva which is non-feeding, secrete a pasty material from its silk gland. It moves its head to and fro, secreting a silk thread. A good quality of cocoon is judged by the quantity of raw silk, filament length, strength, and splitting power. The cocoons are marketed and sold. Post-cocoon processing, it includes following stages. Stifling. The process of killing the cocoons is termed as stifling. 8 to 10-day old cocoons are selected and dipped in hot water to kill the pupa in the cocoons. The process of killing the cocoons is termed as stifling. Stifling. 8 to 10-day old cocoons are selected and dipped in hot water to kill the pupa in the cocoons. Reeling. After stifling, the process is reeling. The silk threads from the killed cocoons are removed and wound around a large wheel and then transferred to spools. This operation is called reeling and silk is called as reeled silk. Spinning. Damaged cocoons or damaged outer layer of silk is separated and spun into threads. This is known as what? Spun silk. Spun silk is the damaged cocoons or the damaged outer layer of the silk is separated and spun into threads. It is known as what? Spun silk. The raw silk is boiled, stretched, and purified and washed again and again to shining luster. Real skin or spun silk is marketed and sold. So stippling, reeling, spinning, these are the processes. Stippling is the process of killing the cocoons. Okay, 8 to 10-day old cocoons are selected and dipped in hot water to kill the pupa in the cocoons. Reeling, the silk threads from the killed cocoons are removed and wound around a large wheel and then transferred to spools. This operation is called reeling and the skin silk is known as what? Reeled silk. Problem of sericulture. The sericulture industry is facing number of problems. The first is need for research. There is a great need for better methods of rearing the silkworms. This is necessary to improve the yield of the raw silk and reduce the cost of production. Second point, in order to improve the quality and the yield of raw silk, improved varieties of silkworm are developed by the hybridization and breeding. There is a need for improvement of genetic quality of silkworm. For research and training in sericulture, the government has opened research and service stations in many states. A Center Silk Board has been established at Bangalore under the Ministry of Commerce. Disease of silkworm. Pebrine. It is the most important disease of silkworm. It is caused by a sporozoan called Nosemia bombycis. The full-grown caterpillar is attacked. Pebrine. It is the most important disease of silkworms. It is caused by a sporozoan called Nosemia bombycis. The full-grown caterpillar is attacked during this disease. Second is muscardine. Muscardine, it is a fungal disease caused by Beauveria bassina and transmitted by spores carrying by winds. All stages of caterpillar are attacked. Okay, in pebrine, only fully grown caterpillar is attacked. In muscardine, all stages of caterpillar are attacked. Flasher. Flasher is a bacterial disease caused by Bacillus bombyceptus septicus. Digestion in the affected caterpillar gets disturbed. Regular feeding of the larva and maintaining hygienic conditions will prevent the disease. Flasher, it is a bacterial disease caused by Bacillus bombycepticus. Digestion in the affected caterpillar gets disturbed. Regular feeding of the larva and maintaining hygienic conditions will prevent the disease. Grasserie, the causative agent of this disease is the nuclear polyhedrous virus, nucleopolyhedrous virus. The affected larva becomes swollen and like a bag of granules, the body fluid becomes thick and cloudy and the larva die. So pebrine, muscardine, flechier, and graceri. Graceri is a viral disease, flechier is a bacterial disease, muscardine is a disease which is caused by fungus, and pebrine is a sporozoal disease. Economic potentialities. Economic potentialities of cultivating silk in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is the largest state with respect to land area and has rich subtropical vegetation. Thus, Madhya Pradesh holds vast economic potentialities in cultivating silk. Sericulture is an important rural cottage industry. The tribal and the other rural population in south, east, and east Madhya Pradesh is favorable disposed for the cultivation of silk. Once Madhya Pradesh was not a significant state in the list of silk producing states in India, but due to the efforts of Madhya Pradesh government in direction of promoting sericulture, today it is the second largest state after Karnataka in the field of production of raw silk. Efforts made by government of Madhya Pradesh to promote sericulture in the state. A directorate of silk has been organized under the Panchayat and Rural Department to make concentrated efforts. These activities have been divided into two categories. First is the Kosa silk area. Second is Mulberry silk area. Kosa silk area, it extends in the eastern and southeastern parts of the state. Eastern and southeastern parts of the state. This area predominates by tribal population and is spread in the districts of Balaghat and Mandala. So Kosa silk area, it extends in the eastern and southeast parts of the state. This area is predominated by the tribal population and is spread in the districts of Balaghat and Mandala. Mulberry silk area, it is spread in western and middle parts of the state, including the districts of Indore, Dhar, Devas, Khandwa, Ujjain, Shahjahanpur, Raigad, Mandosara, Gona, and Sehor. For the promotion of production of Kosa silk, now Mulberry silk, following efforts are being made. So Kosa silk area is in the eastern and southeastern parts of the state, Madhya Pradesh, and Mulberry silk area is in the middle and western areas of the Madhya Pradesh, like Indore, Dhar, Devas, Khandwa, Ujjain, Shahjahanpur, Raigad, Mandosar, Gona, and Sehor. Kosa Seed Center. Kosa Seed Center. 12 Kosa Seed Centers have been established and provide scientific and technical information to Kosa silkworm rearers. These centers are also provided disinfected improved Kosa seeds and caterpillars to the rearers. So Kosa Seed Center, 12 Kosa Seed Centers have been established to provide scientific and technical information to the Kosa silkworm rearers. These centers also provide disinfected improved Kosa seeds and caterpillars to the rearers. KOSA Guidance and Training Center. Madhya Pradesh government has established 67 centers which meet the basic needs of supplying disinfected improved seeds of KOSA silk and impart training and guidance to the rearers. KOSA Guidance and Training Center. Madhya Pradesh government has established 67 centers which meet the basic needs of supplying disinfected improved seeds of KOSA silk and impart training and guidance to the rearers. Nurseries. To meet the needs of the host plant and supply of the leaves, mulberry leaves, to the rearers, the government has established nurseries of Terminalia tomentosa and Terminalia arjuna. Plantation of host plants have been undertaken in 296 hectares of land, and 1285 hectares of land is proposed to be covered under this scheme. The construction of two grainage, one cold storage, one cocoon market, and one reeling factory is being undertaken. The construction of two grainage, one cold storage, one cocoon market, and one reeling factory is being undertaken. KOSA Regional Research Center has been established to help the rearers to increase the yield and improve the quality of silk. Okay. So KOSA Seed Center, KOSA Guidance and Training Center, nurseries, grainage, one cold storage, one cocoon market, and one reeling factory has been undertaken. KOSA Regional Research Center has been established to help the rearers to increase the yield and improve the quality of silk. Mulberry silk plants. To promote the mulberry silk production in Madhya Pradesh, certain efforts have been made in the direction of Madhya Pradesh government. These are: first is establishment of nursery. To increase the production of host plant mulberry silkworm Morus indica, nurseries have been established. Mulberry silk seed centers have been established. Integrated rural development projects have prepared for the production of mulberry silk. Establishment of regional research center and reeling factory. Demonstration and publicity plans. So, for enhancing the mulberry silk plans to promote the mulberry silk production in Madhya Pradesh, following efforts have been taken by Madhya Pradesh government. First is the establishment of the nursery. Second, the mulberry silk seed centers. Third is the integrated rural development projects. Fourth is establishment of regional research center and reeling factory. Fifth is demonstration publicity plans. Madhya Pradesh government has allocated 476.22 lakh of rupees for the development plans of silk for the year 1985-86. A target of 80,000 kilogram of kosa silk and 8,356 kilogram of mulberry silk has been produced. Now comes apiculture. So I will be starting apiculture in the next turn. Till then, bye bye, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home.